back to my channel, or if you're new here, hey, how you doing? My name is Ash. I am a makeup artist and a book lover, and today's video is going to be my first time doing a palette ranking video with the last 10 palettes that I used. So I'm pretty new to this, and I've seen several videos on how to do them, and I'm just going to do it my own way. If it's similar to what other people do, I guess I'm just remembering what people are doing. But I have my stack of palettes, and some of these are really old, some of them are very new, and I am excited to do rankings. I'm going to try to do them every once in a while. These are all the palettes that I've used so far in May, which have been 10 palettes. So I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up, because I think that's typically how that's done. Let's get started with number 10, which will be the Anastasia and Carli Bybel palette. Yes, I still have this palette. Yes, it is very old. Now this isn't a bad palette by any means. It's actually a really pretty color story, and I did actually use this palette on my wedding day. Unconventionally, I did take the red and put that on my lower lash line. I loved it. This is just ranked the lowest because this is a palette that I pulled when I did my popsicle stick palette pick over on TikTok, which that is just me trying out all of my palettes by picking them randomly and doing looks with them. This was one of the palettes that I pulled. For as old as it is, it performed pretty well. I'm just not into this anymore, and the point of me trying out all my palettes is to declutter them when I try them all. So that is number 10. Moving on to number 9, I believe this palette is 5 years old, 4 years old. I'm not sure when this launched. I remember playing with it during lockdown though, so it's been a while. And that would be the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette. Yes, I still have my Tati Beauty palette. Yes, this is the original. No, I didn't rebuy it, but I love this palette when it came out, and this is just ranked number 9 for me because, partly because it's so old, and also partly because I'm not that much of a fan of these glitters and palettes anymore. But I love this palette when it came out. Like, it's a beautiful color story. You have monochromatic rose with different finishes. I was just obsessed with this, but I didn't really care for it. And when I did my popsicle stick palette pick, I drew both of these because sometimes I draw 2 palettes. So I put these 2 together. I made a pretty look. I'll throw up a photo here of the look that I did. But I just wasn't that, impressed with these anymore. So number 9 and number 10. For number 8, I have the Ciate London I Am a Woman, What's Your Superpower Volume 2. This is what this one looks like. It is beautiful, but I wasn't that much of a fan of it when I tried it. I did get this in Ipsy, so there is a video of me trying this palette up on my channel. If I remember, it'll be in the eye above. It's cute for like the everyday person, but for someone like me who loves, the color, the drama, this just wasn't it. The shimmers were just okay. They aren't anything special. The mattes are just kind of eh. Like, they're good mattes, but they're just like nothing special. Like, there's nothing special about this palette, color story wise. I love Ciate London, but this was just a no for me. Now these next palettes, they are all favorites. Just because they're ranked how they're ranked doesn't mean I like them any less than in general, if that makes any sense. But this is just from the looks that I did this month and how I use these palettes, this is the vibe. So number 7 is going to my Melt and Bailey Sarian Fatally Yours palette. I love this palette. I did do a get ready with me where I was using this again. This was part of my project pan that totally failed with me doing eyeshadow for that. But I love this palette. I love it. Just because it's ranked number 7 doesn't mean I like it less than in general, but in this group of palettes, I like it a little bit less than everything else. But this is a absolutely gorgeous palette. It's all matte. I am obsessed with it. But unfortunately, yeah, it's number 7 because everything else is just a little bit better. Number 6 is going to go to the Get Stonned Stoned palette. This is an all shimmer palette. See how I went from all matte to all shimmer? I prefer shimmers more. This is a absolutely beautiful palette. I bought this over on the TikTok shop. I believe it's around 40-ish bucks, which isn't bad for like all these shimmers because they are very impactful and pretty and glitzy and just yummy, and I just love this. It's just a very pretty palette. One of my favorites is Hollow Ghost. Just like, they are so like intense and beautiful, and I am just obsessed with it. I need to use it more. This is one of the palettes that I love pulling out when I pull an all matte palette, just because I love a little bit of shimmer. Don't get me wrong, I love matte looks. I love all matte looks so much, but I love the shimmer too. I gotta have the shimmer. Now palettes 3 through 5 can kind of be like interchangeable, but they go to the Game Beauty and Attack on Titan collab. Technically at number 5 I would put the Sina palette. This is just a beautiful all warm palette. Very pretty colors in here. I love this one. But I love Maria just a little bit more, so this will be number 4. This is just a beautiful blue and yellow and like a deep brown here. Beautiful. And then number 3 will be the Rose palette, which is definitely my favorite quad in here, specifically just for the shade here, Chain. It is so shifty and so just gorgeous. Like, I love it so much. It's just so pretty. So pretty. Game Beauty was kind enough to send me this entire collection, and I did do a full video with this collection. In that video I did 4 separate looks. 3 of the looks were using 1 palette each, and then the 4th look was combining all 3. I love that. Those are 3 through 5. Now these next 2, my top 2 palettes of the month. If you know, you know. I've done so many videos over these. I'm currently filming another video with one of these palettes, but number 2 has to go to the bellabeautébar Secret Garden palette. This palette is so special. It is so special and so pretty, and I am 110% completely obsessed with it. The mattes in here, so good. They blend out so well. They're very pigmented. I will say the only shadow I have an issue with would be Vintage up here, just because it's not that light enough for me. Pretty much matches my skin tone, so I can't use it for anything other than like a helpful blending shade. So I can't use it like as a highlighting shade, like on my brow bone, like I like to do. But other than that, this palette is absolutely gorgeous. At the time of me filming this video, I have used almost every single shade in this palette. I think the only ones I haven't used were Enchanted, Mist, and Imagine. I think I used pretty much everything else though, which isn't bad. I love this palette. Yes, this is number 2, and this would have been number 1 if the next palette didn't come out when it did. But I love this one. This is one of my favorite palettes that I've tried this year so far, and I am just obsessed with it. And of course that leaves the only Colourpop and Pokémon collab as my number 1 palette. Are you surprised? I mean, are you really surprised? It's so pretty. It is so pretty. It is a different array of formulas. You have a lot of mattes, you have some shimmers, you have like more glittery, like chunky ones. This is just absolutely beautiful. From everything from the packaging to their names to all of the little Pokemon that they included on it. I'm just fully 150% obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with Pokemon. I'm in love. The look that I have on right now is actually part of another video where I'm using this palette and doing 3 looks with it. So this is the first look that I did. I love it so much. It is very comparable to other Colourpop palettes. It's just gorgeous. Everything about this collection is just, it makes me so happy. Oh, I just love it so much. But there you have it. This is the last 10 palettes that I used, and I will try to do this again in the future because it's actually fun to go back to like kind of see which ones you really liked and which ones you kind of didn't like. But most of these I absolutely adore, and more than half of these I will be keeping when I finally do my eyeshadow palette declutter. Just saying. But yeah, let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you tried any of these palettes, and let me know also if I should continue to doing these ranking my last 10 palettes sort of videos. It's fun to do. It was fun to go through all of these. I think it'd be exciting to just continue doing that, like every time I use like 10 or so palettes. I think it's a lot of fun to do this because it's not just a ranking of current palettes, it's going to be palettes that may be years old, because I'm doing that series on my TikTok, and it's been fun just trying out all my palettes. So I am excited for like all the new stuff, but I'm also excited to go through all my old stuff also, because I am focusing more on trying the makeup that I have rather than wanting to go out and buy more. Trying to be a better consumer and save money. But like, I could not pass up this collection or this palette, and this was technically free, and I kind of bought this one before I went on a no buy, and this one came out last year, so it doesn't count, and this one I got in Ipsy, so it was free, and then these 2 just are super old. So I'm rambling at this point, so I need to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want, you can follow me on my other socials. I'm artistryxashh everywhere. But if you want more book content, I am Ashley with 2h's.reads on TikTok and Instagram. Have not posted much over there lately because I have barely read this month. Shame on me. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!
Turn this life into something that you can never own.